Have you ever wondered who you are after divorce? When the marriage ends, the roles change, and you're suddenly a single parent trying to rebuild your life and your identity at the same time. In today's episode, Wes Towers shares how divorce shattered the identity he thought he had and how he slowly rebuilt himself while still showing up for his kids. If you're a single parent navigating life after divorce, this conversation will give you both comfort and practical ideas for finding yourself again. Let's dive into his story. Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. This holiday season, skip the candles and gift cards. Give the woman in your life something that truly matters, or better yet, give it to yourself. The gift inside is for every woman who spent decades being everything to everyone else. It's time to remember who you are and rediscover your happiness. This isn't just a book, it's a permission to put yourself first again. Available now, because the best gift you can give is helping someone find themselves. Hello and welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today we have a special guest, Wes Towers. He is a father, entrepreneur who rebuilt his life from the ground up after divorce, physically, mentally, and financially. He runs Uplift 360, a web design agency that believes brands need to be more human than ever to stand out in an AI age. Wes brings a grounded perspective on resilience, personal growth, and showing up authentically in both life and business. Welcome, Wes. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, IRINA. Fantastic to be here. It's your start of the day and my end of the day here in Australia, a different time zone. So
yeah. Thank you for being here. So please share with us, how did you become a single parent?
Yeah, so it was. I was married nearly 20, might have been 20 years in the end, and I stumbled upon something that I felt was irredeemable. So from one day I was in the house and with the kids and everything was normal. It wasn't a great marriage, but everything was normal. And then the next day I was sleeping at work underneath the desk at the office. So things changed really quickly for me, and it was really, really challenging time then. Obviously, it felt like the whole world was collapsing from a personal perspective. But through that whole process with the separation and then divorce here in Australia, it's probably the same everywhere in the world, but we needed to get a business valuation because it's considered part of the asset pool. And the business valuer, so that moment where separation started about 3 years ago, and a little bit after that, with the financial separation, the business valuer did the valuation, and he said the business was in jeopardy. It wasn't really worth much because AI had the potential to take over, being in website design. So we do websites and search engine optimization, mainly for construction companies, mostly here in Australia. But yeah, so that was a real wake-up call. So not only did my personal life have dissolved and broken down, and feeling the loss of not having the time with the children and all those things, but also so my whole identity was crumbling because I was told my business was at jeopardy as well. So it was really a challenging moment in time, but it did lead to a breakthrough. And I like to think of it like a dissolving of who I was, but then to a reforming of who I have become and becoming. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. It must have been tough going through all of that, not just your personal, but your financial side and your business side. And business is like another baby, like another child.
Yeah, certainly. It's certainly by no means it was nowhere near as tough as it was to not be with the children every single day. That was certainly the biggest pain and anguish in life. The business side of things is just a means to an end, really. I enjoy what I do, but it's nothing compared to to having children and spending time with them. And that's the one thing most of us lose to a degree in some capacity when marriages break down. And it's such a hard time for kids as well. So, to navigate that so they can come out the other side as in best shape as they possibly can. Obviously, it's going to have an impact on them, but to minimize the harm and to make sure that they come out healthy and happy and successful, that was the main key for sure.
Totally. How old were the kids when this happened?
Then 19, 17 and 13 now, so that means they're 10, and I'm about 10 and 15 and 16, something like that. So so the older ones, so the eldest one, he's moved out of home completely now, in with his girlfriend, so he's living his adult life, so that's all fine. The second one is nearly finishing high school, so he'll finish this year, and it sounds like his intention is possibly he'll live his adult life, whatever that might be, and it's just the youngest one now, so that I get to spend time with as well still. So yeah, it's just a massive shake-up, isn't it, just for children, and for me it was to be the best example I could be for them in that horrific time. There were so many challenges in that. Initially, myself and my now ex-wife had agreed to make a time to sit down with the children and explain everything when everything was stable, but that time never came. So I followed it up a number of times, and that time never came. So it felt a little bit like my story might not have been heard through to the children. But then I realised, hey, why do I need to even explain my side of the story? That's only going to cause them harm. It's nothing. I don't need to vindicate myself, or I don't need to explain myself and my story. It's not helpful for them to think poorly of their mother. They love their mum, and as they should. So I had to put myself aside and think, what's the best interest for the kids? And certainly wasn't trying to explain my case and everything that had been done wrong to me. That wasn't in the best interest of the kids. So I think we managed it pretty well. They seemed pretty happy. I've stayed through that time, stayed in contact with the school quite a bit, and it seemed as though the kids were doing pretty well and happy, and they had good support mechanisms around them, because we only see in that one aspect of the kids, that at home, but when they're interacting at school, that teachers can sometimes pick up something different. So yeah, I think they did really well considering. So from their perspective, I was there one day and the next day I wasn't there, so in the family home. So it must have been challenging, no doubt. It was challenging, but it led to me having to reshape my whole life as well, and my personal life, and to be challenged with the business side of things, which obviously it's mostly what I talk about. I do a few podcasts. It's mostly about business, but I felt to jump on this one. I saw your show and thought, I've got a story and it's worth sharing.
Yes. So what helped you overcome your challenges? Did you speak to a coach? Did you go?
Yeah.
What was your process?
Yeah. So at one point in the really dark times, I was crying on the floor in my office, a total mess, like shaking, and my eyes are red and just completely dysregulated. And I realized in 5 minutes I've got an important Zoom call. So I was able to pull myself together, do the Zoom call. It was a business call, and do the biggest deal I'd ever done. And I thought, wow, I've been able to pull that off. And I thought that was good. But then on the flip side, someone was saying to me, I mean, you can compartmentalize that, but it's kind of, there's a lot of unhealthy things within you to be in that position, and you can't stay like that forever, ever. So it was kind of like I was wearing a mask, and I was able to put on a mask and function really high function business and do all those meetings and so on. So at that point, when the person said that, I realized I've got to get some help. So I went to a psychologist. Here in Australia, they had a program where they'd subsidise 6 sessions. So I found a psychologist and did the 6 sessions, and I set myself a goal. I'd be healed and transformed in the 6 sessions. Now, I wasn't completely healed and transformed, but I did make a pretty good process. But she was She was fantastic in that she was more holistic than a clinic. I don't know how they normally are, but she was more holistic, and she suggested I try breath work, which was fantastic. I had some really great breakthroughs through breath work. And I did other things to help regulate myself. So cold therapy, so cold plunges in the. Those are probably the two most important things that I did. But also, just general health. So I started going to the gym regularly, eating better. I lost a lot of weight. I got myself really unhealthy when I was married. I wasn't looking after myself at all. So in some ways, to hit rock bottom meant that I had to rebuild, and I looked at everything, and I just improved every aspect, just a little bit in every aspect of life, to build a better me and a better father, hopefully. And as a consequence, the business flourished as well. But that was just a lucky a plus, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, because you started, working on yourself, getting yourself better, your business as a byproduct of you.
Yeah, true. Everything's
Gotten better as well.
Yeah. Everything is connected. You can't be successful fully in one aspect and have some other aspect of your life pulling you down. I think so. That's probably where I failed a lot with my personal life and health and everything. And it's unfortunate to hit rock bottom like I did, but to be in the position I am now is the best outcome you could have possibly hoped for.
Would you do anything differently? What kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Yes, I wouldn't have got married when I did. Probably everyone says that. That's it. I would have taken care of my health more. I would have been stronger and firmer in my values and things like that. I was probably just went with the flow, where I should have been more confident in who I was and built some strong foundations about my own identity. I feel like that's going to be even more important than ever before. So I mentioned AI, the threat of it taking over my business or shutting my business down. It is going to change the world. There's no question. It already has started to. It's going to mean people need to reposition themselves, because career paths are going to change. There's so many things that are going to change. I think we all need a solid foundation of who we are as humans, what our identity is, our values, what's important to us, and to connect with other humans. Because, maybe computers can do a lot of the work for us, but there's always going to be that aspect of what makes us human, what makes us vulnerable, what makes us connect with other people. Some of these skills might get lost a little bit if we start just doing everything through AI, I think.
I can totally relate about losing yourself and having that loss of identity piece. In my own, I've managed to lose myself during the relationship, and I didn't know who I was outside of being a mom and someone else's spouse. I lost all those, I guess, personality components, and I didn't know what I like, what I dislike, because I think when you live with somebody, you start to melt with the other person and finish each other's sentences, and you want to do everything together. But now you're by yourself, and you gotta redefine what that looks like, what life looks like, who you are, what makes
100%.
you.
It's a massive thing, because not sure how long you were married. Well, it was nearly my whole adult life, really. 20 years, a massive portion of my life to be married, to be in the same, like, the household, how it functioned, and the busyness of just life and doing things, running the kids around to the various activities. There's so much busyness in it that you don't even really have a chance to think about these things, do you? You just get the work done and so on. So do what you have to do.
Yeah, I think because I don't know how in Australia, but here, you grow up, you go to school, you start a family, you get a job, you start a family, you get a house, and you live your life, and you never ask yourself anything, because you have this preset expectation of what life is supposed to be like, and you just swim along the river of life without ever questioning where you are going. And then when something happens, like a breakup, a divorce, or any kind of loss, because this was a loss of identity, but it also a conceptual loss of what a family is.
Yeah.
For myself, I was like, everybody around me was married and together. I was this weird single parent figuring out what normal looked like. And what I discovered through my life, that we get to define our normal. We don't need to be copied somebody else's life. We have our own life to live.
Yeah.
And we can, based on our values and our core principles, can adapt what resonates and drop off what doesn't. And it's not to say one way is the right way and the other is the wrong way. We just all have our own unique path that we walk and how we interact with one another.
Yeah, 100%. That's so true. I mean, we grow up and we kind of have expectations of what life will look like. But I grew up in a fairly religious home, so that has its own set of values and so on. It was, some people say, like, the religious background I had was, some people would define it as a cult, not necessarily a super dangerous one, but certainly a fairly strict one. So it probably embedded a lot of values in me that were not my own values, they were somebody else's. So to come up with my own, I think I was just too young to get married as well, so I hadn't really found myself. I think that's a common trait. Like, I think that's common for all of us. Most of us get married fairly, or you might have got married young. Did you as well?
I was, I think I was 20 something, 23. No, 27. I was 27.
Yeah, so that's pretty normal that's roughly the age that most people get married here as well. So yeah, even at that age, we're still kind of finding our own feet. Like, we're not long been adults, really. We think we know everything by then, but we know nothing.
I don't feel kind of my age, and I look at my kids. I feel like inside I'm 17 and I look at my kids. You're my kids.
Yeah.
I'm this adult that's supposed to know everything. And I mean, you can read gazillion of books, I call it, before you become a parent, but I don't think anything can prepare you when you actually become one. And you gotta do real life things and kind of learn on the job as you go along, because kids don't come with instruction manuals. You got to navigate your way around and do.
100%. It's life always has its ups and downs and challenges, and we're always learning. It makes it exciting, but terrifying at sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important trait to instill in a child?
Most important trait? Wow, that's a really good question. I would probably say resilience, because there are rough times in life. So you need to be able to navigate those things and to come through the other side and realize, what the struggles of today, they will pass. There's seasons in life, so that you might have a rough day today or a rough month or rough year even. But it's not going to be like that forever. If you just stick at it and know what you want in life and keep moving forward. I think resilience is the foundation that I would like my kids to have, and they do, which is really great.
Totally, I love that. Yeah, resilience is important, because then you can deal with whatever life throws at you, and you're not gonna be down. Because sometimes when you're in the midst of things, you think this is it. There is no way out, but everything is just a season. Take ourselves and look at our life from a 30,000 feet perspective.
Yeah.
Is it worth to be upset about, or, in the long run, what kind of situation is this? Yeah,
that's it. 100%. So the resilience, and I think I mentioned AI a little bit because everyone's sort of talking about it. There are going to be so many, I believe, just so many changes in everything that we do. I mean, there's some doomsday type predictions, and there's people with more positive aspects. I think probably all of it is, there's probably going to be aspects of everything. Everything's just going to change so fast. Businesses, certainly working in a business, things are changing fast. I was at a seminar yesterday and the guy was speaking about AI, integrating that through businesses. But it's just phenomenal how quickly it's learning. So, I mean, we're doing it a lot for our clients as well. So doing websites and helping them produce content and so on in their own brand voice. So I think some of the personal lessons I had through the really horrible times of understanding who I was and my own identity and what my values were, all those principles are so important in business as well. And even more so now, because you need to be your own personal brand, because everyone can produce the same information through ChatGPT. It all comes out. It's just like the average of everybody else. But nobody wants to be average. We want to be unique and stand out and be different and have something to stand for. So to have your own core message, we're helping a lot of clients with that at the moment, to show up and be found and all those fun things online. So yeah, it's an interesting world we're living in right now.
Yes, totally. What kind of advice would you share with single parents who are just stepping onto the journey of single parenting?
Yeah, there's so much that you go through when you're starting out in all those changes. I think the most important thing, and maybe this is a really important thing more for men, because women do it naturally, but to have good friends around, like to have friendships, not to isolate. They don't even need to be able to give you advice, but just to have people who are there, who you feel heard and understood, and not even understood, just heard. You know, they might not have had the same struggles, but they're your friend and they're there with you and they're supporting you. I think men will not do that as well as women. I think women are far better at relational sort of things. So that's just my observation. But certainly that was an important thing that I did, to make sure I built some strong friendships around me to navigate all that stuff. Because you've got to be as healthy as you can, your own mental health, for the benefit of your children, and they'll pick it up. If you're not quite right, it's going to flow on and it's going to affect everything you do. You've got to get your mental health right as a priority.
Thank you. I totally get you. And you're right, men are not very good in expressing feelings or emotions or how they're feeling, because that's not something we teach kids at all. Even,
true, yeah.
Well, the stereotype is boys don't cry. They don't. So that's like, and I guess as boys grow into men, they shouldn't be feeling anything. They shouldn't be expressing it, or it somehow shows a sign of weakness. But I think it's shifting now, the way the world unfolds, that we gotta express our emotions, we gotta speak our feelings and process that, because then if we don't release the negative emotions that are stuck in the body, that can manifest in a disease. If we left unaddressed, there is no way to go through life, carrying all the baggage, all the things that happen,
Yeah, that's so true. It's I think you're right. I think things are improving on that front, hopefully they are, with the masculine traits and understanding that emotions are normal and healthy and helpful, all those things. Certainly, so I've got 2 boys and a girl, so I think my boys are pretty well adjusted in that area, so it's always a challenge. I wonder how much of it is just the way we bring up boys and how much of it is just a natural difference in the brain and all that sort of stuff. I don't know, but we do our best.
Totally. Was there any book that kind of inspired your journey or helped you overcome anything through what you were going through that you can recommend?
Yeah. Oh, wow. The psychologist got me to read a book and I've gone a blank.
I guess it didn't make an impact.
No, it did, but it was about the different attachment styles. Title. Anyway, it was about different attachment styles, and so that was really helpful. So we worked through that together, and she sort of helped explain my sort of tendencies and what she could perceive my ex-wife was, and why that might have led to drama. So it was helpful. Certainly the attachment. Oh man, I wish I knew. It's the big one. Different. Have you heard? Have you read
attachment theory or something?
Attachment theory, something like that. Yeah, attached.
Okay.
Yeah. That was really good. So I had that. I read through that. It's quite helpful.
Cool. Thank you. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
No, I think that's it. Just hopefully that's helpful. I mean, it's just my story of Everyone's story's unique. I think the one thing is, like, it always feels like the world's ending, but it's not. So if anyone's ever feeling like it's not going to get it better, it will. It will get better. You just got to stick in there, stick at it, and do your best with your children, and things can improve.
Totally. What is your one non-negotiable, one thing you do for yourself every day that you cannot live without?
One thing that I can't live without, well, it's not daily, but it's certainly at least 4 days a week, is going to the gym. Yeah, so just going to the gym. It's really close, so it's handy. Like, it's only 3 minutes walk across there. So I've got no excuse, and it just helps refresh me. If I'm feeling a little bit frustrated or down or whatever, it just resets everything to get the body moving, I think. So
Totally. Thank you. If people would like to connect and learn more about you, where would they go?
Yeah, so, well, as I said, I run a business, so you can find just if you go to uplift360.com.au, that's my web design and SEO business, and from there you'll find my LinkedIn and social media as well. So I'll connect with anyone. If people reach out on LinkedIn, I'll connect with everybody, so that's totally fine as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll include everything in episode notes. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
It's been great. Thanks so much.